The slit-mouthed woman is Japan's folklore equivalent of being asked, "Do I look okay?" but with knives involved. Picture this: you are walking home at night and a woman in a trench coat with surgical mask steps into your path. Already a red flag. She asks, "Am I beautiful?" And in that second, you are trapped. Because this isn't just a stranger, this is a Kuchisakon, this bird with her mouth carved open from ear to ear like she lost the bar fight with the Joker. If you say no, she kills you. If you say yes, she takes the mask off and asks again. Then she still kills you. Absolute lose-lose scenario. This legend is fascinating because it weaponizes politeness. Japanese culture places enormous weight on courteous responses. So, this story hijacks social anxiety itself. You are doomed, not because of supernatural rules, but because your own manners betray you. You cannot answer, you cannot just walk away. That's the brilliance terror by etiquette. The mask detail is deliciously modern too. Surgical masks are everywhere in Japan, which makes her story timeless. She is horror in camouflage, slipping perfectly into the crowd. You don't know which masked stranger on the train is a tired office worker and which one is about to ask you a question and determines how fast you die. And the cooker, some versions say you can escape by throwing candy at her. Candy. This is a ghost that can be bribed like a toddler at Halloween. She is proof that even in horror, humans cling to loopholes. As if a Jolly Rancher can ward off a mutilated specter. Llorona is the Mexican ghost mother who proves parental guilt doesn't stop at death. Her story is cruel in its simplicity. Helen rejects her. Hill doesn't want her, so she's stuck wandering riversides, eternally weeping, searching for children to replace her Emma. She is not a villain in the mustache twirling sense. She is grief weaponized, healed with a face, maternal love inverted into a curse. That's why she burns deeper than a cheap jump skirt. Every culture has a story about women as monsters, but La Llorona is intimate. She doesn't claw you open or scream at you from a closet. She simply asks, "Where are my children?" And suddenly your skin crawls. Because you know exactly what she is asking. The horror isn't her. It's the lost echoing in her cry. You can't fight that. You can't punch grief. You just hear it and feel it ripple through your bones like a cold tide. But oh, the dark comedy of human imagination. Parents actually use La Llorona as the bedtime discipline. For example, "Don't go out at night," or "The ghost lady will kidnap you." It's both tragic and hilarious, weaponizing generational trauma as babysitting. Forget nanny cams. Hispanic parents have ghost mothers on retainer, and kids grow up terrified not of strangers, but of a crying woman by the river. That's folklore efficiency at the finest. She lingers because she is not just a story, she is a mirror of our worst nightmares. That love can curdle, that motherhood can shatter, and that some mistakes echo louder than screams. The black-eyed children are the internet's most parasitic urban legend. Half creepypasta, half folkloric parasite. 100% nightmare fuel. They look like ordinary kids, except for their eyes, which are pure bottomless black. They knock on your door at night, speaking in stilted voices, asking to come inside. They never forced entry. They need a permission, which already feels biblical. Children as vampires, innocence inverted into invasion. If you say yes, legend says you'll never be seen again. If you say no, they linger, they wait. The psychological genius is in the contrast. Kids are supposed to be harmless. We are wired to feel protective, to drop our guard. That's why they are terrifying because they weaponize empathy. A crying child on your doorstep at midnight should make you want to help. But every instinct clashes with the primal alarm bell screaming that their eyes aren't human. Their tone is too flat, their smiles are too rehearsed. It's uncanny valley with training wheels. And unlike Bloody Mary or Llorona, the black-eyed children aren't centuries old. They exploded in the late 90s through online forums. They are digital folklore tailor-made for a generation raised on American online chatrooms and dial-up paranoia, which means they are the first true internet ghost story. And the fact that their legend spread globally in a matter of years says something ugly that we all fear the same thing our homes being breached, our safety shattered, our kindness turned into a trap. Dark humor time. You ever notice they never show up during the day? Not once has anyone reported a black eyed kid at, like, for example, 2 p.m. asking for croissants. They always show up at the witching hour, as if evil operates on bankers' hours. Demonic door to door salesmen, except instead of vacuum cleaners. They are selling your doom. The Vanishing Hitchhiker is the ghost story that preys on every driver's worst fail. That this stranger you picked up isn't human, isn't safe, and might not even exist by the time you drop them off. The setup is eerily mundane. You are driving down a lonely road, headlights slicing through fog. And there she is, pale young woman. Sometimes in a white dress, sometimes dripping wet, sometimes just wrong. You stop because of course you do. You are polite, or lonely, or maybe just too tired to care. She gets in, she gives an address. She's quiet, too quiet, and then halfway there, or maybe at the doorstep, you look back and she's gone. No sound, no trace, just the smell of damp earth on the back seat. This is a folklore as a car crash of trust and horror. It's a collision between modern mobility and ancient ghosts. Cars are supposed to keep you safe, walls of steel between you and the world. And yet, here is the legend that says, nope, ghosts don't care about seatbelts. And the genius is how repeatable it is. Every culture has their own version. In America, it's a girl who died in a car crash. In Hawaii, it's the goddess of volcanoes hitching rides like she's testing Uber. In Korea, sometimes the hitchhiker doesn't disappear. They just sit silently, hair covering their face until you realize they're not breathing. But here is where it gets psychological. The story always ends with the driver realizing they were alone. It's about our craving for companionship, colliding with the unbearable weight of solitude. You wanted company, you got company. But the universe reminded you that you are still, at the end of the drive, terrifyingly alone. Also, just imagine the cosmic disrespect. You waste gas for a passenger who doesn't exist. Ghosts don't tip. The Wendigo. Its very name means evil that devours. It is one of those creatures that isn't just a monster from the outside world. It's a reflection of what can ride inside us. For centuries, the Algonquin peoples of North America told stories of this being whispering warnings that hunger and greed could stir the pursuit of their soul. Long before Europeans set foot on the continent, the Wendigo already stalked the winter vines. Imagine this, a figure tall as the tree's limbs stretched too long, body stretched too thin. Its bones jut out beneath skin pulled tight as a leather because it is never satisfied, never fed. Some say its eyes glow in the darkness. Some say its heart is nothing but ice. And if you are unlucky enough to feel its presence, you will understand why people feared it more than the blizzards. The Wendigo is not born, it is made. A human desperate with starvation or corrupted by grief crosses the line. They lose their humanity, and what rises in its place is the creature of endless appetite. That is the true horror. The Wendigo isn't just haunting you, it was you. And here lies the cruelest truth. You can never truly kill it. Legend says that no matter how much a Wendigo devours, its hunger only grows. Each bite makes it leaner, emptier, more desperate. The more it consumes, the less it is satisfied. It is the perfect monster for the harsh winters of the North, where food was scarce and survival tested the soul. To eat your neighbor was to save your life, but at the price of becoming something less than human forever. The Wendigo endures in our imagination because we all recognize it. It is greed without limits. It is addiction without cure. It is the shadow of hunger stretched into eternity. And so, even today, when you feel that gnawing emptiness inside, beware, for the Wendigo still waits, swift, starving, and merciless.